afternoon. The time is just gone 2 p.m. Eastern time. Here in the UK it's 7:15, so it's 2:15 Eastern time. And I'm just going to recap my trading for today. End of the day green, quite a decent green day. And I'm going to go through my entries, why I took them. Bit of over trading today, but pretty decent day really. So on my screen you can probably see my MES chart, looking at the 5 minute, this top corner. I also have the 2 minute, which I use for entries. No, I don't trade off it, I just watch it to refine my entries. I have the daily chart and I have the hourly chart, which is what I use for reference all the time. So these are the two charts I mainly use, the hourly and the 5 minute. Okay, so today we had this big data candle came in at the news, is it CPI news or something? That came in at 8:30 today, and I don't know why, but I was trying to catch the push back up, and you can see I had lots of executions around here. I went long there, I went long there and stopped out, went long there and stopped myself out, went long again, stopped myself out, and I took a bit of it in profit there, not much. Went and I stopped out again finally there. And then I did go long here, took some profit up here, and then come out at break even. So I kept my stops really tight, and I was just trying to catch the bounce back up for the move, but it didn't happen. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And I would say I was using the 2 minute chart as well to refine my entry. So there's a couple of them were legitimate 2 minute buy setups, but it wasn't very good. You can see the trend down there. I shouldn't have even thought about it until that trend was broken, or a candle on the 5 minute was broken, but nothing like that. So I tried a long there, and I went in long, and then made a little bit of profit on that. And then I was watching this bear flag at 9:30, and I went short on that candle, and you can see I came out there, and I took my final bit of profit there. No, in fact that's wrong. I came out there and there, then I reversed for a long entry. So you can see the overtrading now. So I went long on the break of that candle, bottom tail, extra high volume. I was watching Orderflow as well, and there's a few limit orders around here as well. And so I took profit there. That's just to give me some profit. And then I added here. I didn't quite like, in fact I came out of it, then I added back in again because I wanted to keep the trade. My stop was still down here somewhere, and I eventually took profits up here. I took another add, which didn't work out, and because we were above the VWAP at that point, and I stopped out as it broke down through the VWAP. So despite all these stops here, just this one trade and the ads I took was enough to put me back in. I was just a little bit better than break even at this point. And that was basically it for that trade. Then I took one more trade, and that was a short. When it broke down through the VWAP, I didn't really come out of my trade. I reversed my trade because it couldn't break out over the 50 moving average, and so I reversed it. So I was short from the VWAP. I took profit there actually. I didn't add, I should have added. As it pulled back to the VWAP, I was considering an add there, which I didn't take. But I held, and my final out was literally low of the day so far. So this is an area I was watching on the 60-minute chart, which is this area down here, just where the line is right now, and that was my target. So I was watching for, this area confluence, tops of candles, bottoms of candles, and that's the reason I took it. And also you can see higher increased volume normally signifies ending volume. You can see that quite clearly here on the 2 minute chart. I'll be honest, I had an order in there, limit order in there, which I did have originally at the low of the day, and I saw the selling off, and I moved it down. I totally forgotten about it. Had I probably been watching it better, I probably would have just been still in this trade now, waiting for the break of that candle, and if it breaks, then I would have got out. So basically I want to trail down the 5 minute. especially when I see high increased volume at the end of a trail down. Then I'll be trailing the 5-minute candle, because that usually indicates end in volume, end of this run. It's a lovely run down. This is a 2-minute chart, so my entry was up here. I missed the add. I need to get better at ads. Even though I've been adding today, I added on all my trades apart from this last reversal. But it's after 12 and I generally trade less size. But that's a great add if I'd taken it. And I did even contemplate the add here as well as it pulled back. Couldn't put in a new high, and I was going to add there, but I didn't in the end. I thought I'll keep it with my contracts I've got, and I just trailed it down. So decent day. I use Orderflow as well, which is proven to be quite a decent way of trading. This is my Orderflow chart, and what I'm looking for is divergence mainly. Here you can see we've got candles coming down and the price is moving down, and that's the reason I got out as well there, and I'm glad I stayed out. And as you can see, price come down, and then we had a bit of a push up. This is the cumulative delta. So this is order flow cumulative delta. This is the difference between the buying and the selling in volume. So you can see we've got negative volume, there's more sellers, and then the buyers came in, but the price was still coming down. This is what I'm doing. I'm on the 1 minute chart here. I don't trade the 1 minute, but it just gives me a 1 minute detailed view of what's going on in each candle. And then we had the price starting to come down again. We had a bit more selling off as well, and then you can see now the price is kind of creeping back up, but we're getting more green delta. So there's more buyers in the volume in each candle. So we've got a green candle here, so that corresponds to the green candle. You can see we've got a red candle here, and that's a green candle there. And I don't really need candles. If I had a line chart, I could have a line chart which would just look like this. And in fact, I tried setting up a line chart, but you can't do it. And I would have overlaid the cumulative delta as a line chart as well. I can get a line chart for the price for the candlesticks. And what I'm looking for is if I see something do that when that's rising, then that normally gives me a little red flag. So I kind of watch what's going on. Also, I'm using Orderflow. So I've got the Orderflow chart here, and what I'm looking for is high volume nodes. So these yellow lines indicate high volume in each candle, and I'm looking for limit orders, and I'll show you. Zoom in a bit. For example, up here we've got this area high volume node, but you can see we've got over 1,000 orders on each of the selling and the buying. And even though this is the bid, this is the number of aggressive selling, and this is the aggressive buying, but when you get to a bottom of a trend, I'm more watching for bigger numbers down here in aggressive selling, because it's not always aggressive selling. It could be just limit orders sitting there waiting to be triggered, and that's why I got out when I did, because I saw the limit orders being triggered, and I did hold a little bit longer, and I think I had my order in down here somewhere, and it finally triggered me out. So, and that's it. You can see that is probably aggressive selling, because it's not at the bottom of the trend, it's in the middle of the candle. But what we're looking for is big orders at the bottom of candles and at an end of a trend. It's got to be at a reversal area, or an area where my hourly levels are, and this is an area where my hourly level is. I'll just open up my trading view. So this is my trading view chart, and let's go into the hourly. And we've got the hourly levels as we talked about in the live video today. Let's just mark it off. So this area here was an area I was watching for potential bounce, and that's why I had my order just below that. I didn't think it's going to get that far, but it did. And I was kind of watching this area here for a top of this demand zone is kind of where I'm watching for a potential bounce. I'm going to be taking it now. I've had my trade. You know, I tried trading. I've traded that long, and I traded this short, and that's me done for the day. But yeah, so that's why keep an eye whenever you have your levels, or when I have my levels in place. I'm looking at the volume in those areas as well, and I'm also looking at the order flow, and the order flow shows me exactly what's going on inside every candle. So you can just see it as a normal 5-minute candle. So if I just move the 5-minute candle chart over, I'll just duplicate it so I don't want to ruin my set. Okay, so that's the 5-minute candle, candlestick. So this is kind of what I trade off. So you've got the 5-minute candlestick, and what this chart's showing me is what's going inside, what is going on inside each of these candles. So this is that candle there, and it shows me the volume. So if I zoom into that now, you can see exactly what's happening. So you can see high volume node here, and so that's high volumes probably around about there on the candlestick below. And usually high volume is limit orders being triggered, as we said. I like to see it over 1,000, 1,300, and I like to see them down in the bottom 2 or 3 segments of the candlestick, and that usually indicates, especially at the end of trend, that we've got a reversal coming in. And I use this to time my reversals and my entries. Again, at the top of a trend, I'm looking for aggressive buying up here, but then if I'm coming into an area where my levels are, or maybe the VWAP or something like that, then I'm looking for potential limit orders triggering up here. And so that then gives me confirmation that we've got limit orders, because the probability of it being limit orders rather than aggressive buyers is the big buy, the smart money are not going to be going short at the end of this trend, with big orders. So only retail traders are going to be doing that because they're having a bit of FOMO and they're trying to jump in. They're missing out on what's going on. So if I see big limit orders coming in, or big aggressive, what looks like aggressive buyers, aggressive sellers, then I probably know that's limit orders. It's more probable to be limit orders at the bottom of a trend or limit orders at the top of a trend than it would be if you were to see them midway through a trend. That's probably aggressive buying. And that's it. So that's kind of what I was watching for today. So I'll go back to candlestick chart. I'm mainly only looking for nodes, and if I get to the end of the trend, I'll zoom in just to see where we are. So I use the candlesticks. I use this divergence chart. You can see the price is going up, the cumulative delta is going up, and I'll just go over. And this side, this is kind of more for information. These are 30-minute charts, and it just shows me where buyers and sellers are. It's a bit like the book map. But it doesn't show me anything historic or where orders were placed and then cancelled. It just shows me what's happened previously. I still use bookmap to show me where the current areas are. It's a lot easier than looking it up on a price grid. And you can see here that big round the red bubble, that shows me lots of aggressive selling in that area. So you can use that as a potential area for a pullback. That you've got high volume nodes. These yellow lines are the highest volume in that area, so we know this is going to be an area of, in fact, let's go back again, got high volume nodes there and there as well, so you can use this area as an area of resistance. So if we're looking to try and find a short on add, this is what I'm looking for: high volume nodes, big sellers, and then confirmation will be as it comes out of that area. So it hasn't got over these high selling nodes, acts as potential resistance. So looks like my out was a good out, starting to turn around, putting this little double bottom. Let's go back to my main screen. So this is a screen I trade from, and my out was right at the bottom of that candle there, pretty much nailed the bottom. And again, that's only using my hourly levels and just trailing. So we kind of put in this double bottom. Had it been before midday or around like midday, I probably would be looking for a long right now, because it looks like it could be a potential reversal, but we have got resistance above 49.60. So just a quick overview of my day today. Decent day, and again, I like to just go over the level 2 side of it. I'm starting to rely on my level 2 more than I'm relying on watching the candlesticks. I spend more time watching the footprint charts and the cumulative delta than I actually do watching the 5-minute chart. and gives you the same information, but it's just a bit more detailed. I can see what's going on inside each candle. For example, if I'm looking for an end of a trend for a reversal, first I'm looking for increased volume, and you can see it quite significant increased volume here on the 2-minute chart. Then I'm looking inside the candle for potential limit orders around that area. You can see it also in Bookmap. So I use the YouTube version of Bookmap, which is called Think with. Oh, what's going on? Here we go. Think with Bookmap. That's what I use, and you can see kind of similar areas. You can see these limit orders, but I don't always have this open. So let's just see. So these are the limit orders which I was talking about a few minutes ago, and these are the limit orders which. 49, 44, 49, 40, 49, 44, yeah, and we've got 49, 47, and that's where I got out at 47, I believe. I didn't even look at the price. 50, just above. So yeah, so that's pretty much it really. Any news for tomorrow? So we had core inflation today. Tomorrow, nothing of high importance. Although we do have some news, 8:30. So PPI tomorrow. So it says 2 out of 3. And 9:30 you've got Fed speaking and oil. Lots of Fed speaking tomorrow as well, but that's aftermarket. So nothing really. Just got to keep an eye on the 8:30 one. And then we go back to the 8:30 candle. I'm going to show you something, which is what I keep an eye on every day, every time we have a data drop or a news event. Let's go back to that again. What I always do on the 5-minute chart, I use TradingView for my analysis, and I use NinjaTrader for my entries. And what I always do is I add in. Let's just come out of it again. I add in 2 indicators, and I do it every time. This is a 5-minute chart. Firstly, I put in the anchored VWAP, and I anchor it to the data candle, and then I also put in the fibs to the data candle. So top to bottom, and that gives me a guide sometimes for the rest of the day. And I don't trade off of these levels yet, but I do keep an eye on it. But it is something to keep an eye on. So we had the data candle, and I was trying to go long, but we were below this anchored VWAP, and look exactly where we came into. Came right into the anchored VWAP and the bottom of that data candle, the fibs, the 0% fibs candle, and this is the white line's my normal VWAP, so that's just normal daily VWAP, and the anchored VWAP, had I not had that on my screen, I would never have known to take a reversal at that point, and that's kind of what I was watching earlier. In fact, I was watching the bear flag, and then obviously the rest is history. So there you go. So it's quite important to keep an eye on this data candle. I'm trying to find a strategy. I don't really like trading the data drop, the news data, on a red day like this. I prefer if we see a big green candle. From some of my back testing, I've seen that a rejection at the top of the green candle works better than a bounce. Well, it wouldn't have worked today because I tried the bounce today, but it didn't work. But I'm still working out whether it's best to do the bounce before the market opens or after 9:30 when the market opens. The rejection of that after 9:30 generally seems pretty reliable, or if it breaks it, comes back and retests it, then that works pretty well as well. And that's why I put in the fibs. So I've got the grey line here. I'm going to clean up my chart because it's getting a bit messy now because I put lots of levels and alerts in place. And but let's get rid of that as well. I don't need a trend line anymore, just need to keep the bottom one. So that's my take on order flow, price action, volume, and the data drops at 8:30. The big data drops. I don't worry about the 10 o'clock data when we get big news at 10. It's normally the 8:30. And again, you can see that area there is very significant today. Bottom of the candle, and I think The other reason is I think a lot of algos use the anchored VWAP, and it also uses the fibs, and that's why we came in, come back up into that area. The algo's sitting there from the original day drop, which didn't get triggered, got triggered again, and it went down for a further leg down. And I think that's the reason why, but I'm keeping an eye on it. Trend line, watch out for a perfect bounce as well. So go back to the 60. And we've been watching this trend line for some time as well. It goes back to October 2023. So right down there, it's just roughly in the area. And so I don't use it as a line, I use it as a zone. So it kind of goes through it. I can move it a little tiny bit to match it up. So what I'll do, I'll actually make it a bit more accurate. Let's see where it is today. And then I'll end the video. If you got this far, well done. And then let's just anchor it to that one there. That's where it was originally. Okay, so we didn't quite bounce off of it, but we came close. So depends how you draw it. Like I said, as a zone. I think I may have even had it on that pivot there. I'd like to use the first two pivots if I can. So that's the first two major pivots. And if we go into today, okay, we're not quite there yet. So it kind of gives you an idea, a rough area to look for a potential bounce. So tomorrow, let's just go back, zoom out a bit. Assuming we don't see any massive movements in the post market today, we're kind of watching this area of demand for a bounce, backed up by the trend line as well. So I'll probably be watching 49.40 tomorrow, and then a rejection quite like this area here. We talked about this earlier today. So the top of that pivot into 5,000, so 5,000 psychological number. We never made it today, so if we come back up to that area, we're looking for a potential rejection. And obviously we've got new areas we've been putting in over the last few days as well for rejections. But tune in tomorrow, 9 AM Eastern time, and I'll go through my live trading video. Today, the levels worked okay-ish. I was more watching it for a pullback into this area. They weren't particularly amazing looking at it now. I can't remember what levels I was watching. So let's go back into the 5. The only decent level today was probably the target, so that's kind of why I used that area there. So the target, and then you had a few bounces off of that level as well. In fact, the pullback and the retest would have been a good trade. In fact, I was long at that point anyway, and I've been short. I was kind of I nailed both the top and bottom, both here, and there. And that's mainly using volume and order flow, because that's what really helps you to see where it's reversing. Okay, that's it. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, and hopefully you had a good day trading also. Okay, thanks for watching.